What's up, guys? Kyle Tiger Kirvay here, Animal's newest athlete. I'm gonna answer some of your questions you have for me, so let's get into it. All right, the question here is, what motivated you to start lifting? Keep it up, man. Hey, appreciate that, I will. Well, it was originally for sports and just trying to be the best athlete that I could in high school. And then as I got older, throughout your 20s, you get hit with some real life stuff, some emotions, and the transition of training to be the best at a sport kind of changed into training to help my mentality and my mood and dealing with real life things and going through your 20s. It's a rough time. So I always fell back on training, and it always helped me out mentally. So this gentleman here says, Captain America, how did you get so strong? I was well fed as a kid. I'll say that first and foremost, because I think eating is the most important thing. My training wasn't always powerlifting style. I always lifted heavy, but I didn't start getting into powerlifting until way later, only the last 3 years. Where my heavy training kind of started was just going in the gym, having fun, and just seeing what the heck I could do and how far I could push my body, and just kind of throwing the weights on the bar to whatever I could do that day, just kind of kept going. And I mean, I would push myself so freaking hard in the gym, man. Like, I would go in there with the purpose of just destroying myself and making myself crawl out, which isn't always the best. And I kind of learned that you can't go 110% because you need time to recover, which goes back to my original thing of why food is so important. But that's kind of where it started, just going in and just having fun and throwing some heavy weights around. Another question here. What do you eat from morning to evening during your peak week? My meals have been pretty standard throughout training throughout the past 3 years. In the morning, I do cream of rice or oats with protein powder, animal protein powder, brownie batter flavor specifically because it's delicious. And then I'll do peanut butter with that meal for some fats. My other meals look like chicken and rice. I do chicken thighs as of lately because they're way better than chicken breasts. Rice is up to 400 grams now, but we won't get too specific. And then olive oil is a great fat source. I do about 2 or 3 meals of those. If I don't do the third chicken and rice meal, I'll do eggs and 100 grams of carbs from pancakes. And then because I am trying to gain weight right now to lift the most amount of weight ever lifted, I do a cinnamon roll at night. From Mr. Carlos here, what's your favorite animal product? That's a really tough question to answer because it depends on what time of day it is. Because we're at the gym right now, so in my mind is pre-workout to get hyped up, to get some good citrulline in, make sure I get good pumps. So Primal is up there, but I would say in totality throughout my career, I've talked about it before, Animal Pack was my first ever product I used. I think the most beneficial thing you could do for your body is a good multivitamin, multi-mineral, and a good fish oil, because if you're taking care of your insides, it's just gonna be that much better in the gym. It all starts with health. So Animal Pack, Animal Omega, those are probably my 2 go-to. Okay, great question here. How often do you train? Do you squat, bench, deadlift more than once a week? What's the split? Right now, because my weights and my training is so intense, it's not uncommon for me to train only 3 days a week for squat, bench, and deadlift. I'll have a 4th accessory day in there, maybe some back, but for the amount I'm lifting right now, it is so taxing that I need all the days to recover. So, people get so caught up on like, how many days should you train? Should you train 7 days a week? Is 4 good enough? Look, dude, like, 3 days is good enough. 2 days is good enough. If you're going in there and just like giving it your absolute all, you're gonna need time to recover. And the benefits from the gym, like, yes, you have to train hard, but the benefits from training hard aren't going to take place until you recover. So it is 3 days a week, pretty much is what I'm doing right now for the squat, bench, and deadlift, just because where I'm at with training and everything is so heavy. Another great training question. Favorite accessories for your big 3 lifts if you can only have 1 each? Okay, so for squat, I would say some sort of, this kind of applies to squat and deadlift, some sort of hinge movement where you're hinging at the waist. So some sort of Romanian deadlift, be it with a dumbbell, with a barbell, with a cable, because like, yes, you need strong quads for a squat, but you also need your posterior chain to be very strong. So your lower back and your hamstrings, and that's gonna really help you throughout that second part of a squat, keeping your back engaged, because you'll see some people, they squat and then their back kind of needs to come up with it. So that's really good for that. Another thing for, I'll say for squat and deadlift again, and to kind of go along with the posterior chain, is just hamstring strength in general. So lying hamstring curls, or my favorite, which would be seated hamstring curls, just because you're in a more stretched position. Your hamstrings can never be strong enough. I mean, I train my hamstrings so hard just because that's how important they are. And for bench, the best accessory I would say would be some sort of incline dumbbell exercise. And that's because, like, on a bench press, like, yes, you can get deep, but I think you need dumbbells to really get that extra stretch and to kind of take that muscle throughout the full range of motion. And not only is that going to be beneficial for more muscle hypertrophy, but it's also going to be beneficial for that full range of motion, to where your muscle is being stretched, and it's just so good for injury prevention, taking your muscle throughout that full range and getting that deep stretch. So those are probably my favorite three right there. A hinge movement, some sort of hamstring curl, and incline dumbbell. How should I squat at 6'3"? Wide stance, question mark, low bar, question mark. It doesn't really matter how tall you are. It's gonna depend on your flexibility in two different areas. One is gonna be your hips, and then two is gonna be your ankle flexibility. So people that have good hip mobility tend to squat wider, and if you're more quad dominant, those people tend to squat narrower. So you kind of have to see and gauge what's stronger on you. So for me at 6 foot, I do like a pretty, it's not narrow, it's not wide, it's pretty much just right in the middle, over my shoulders. But that's because I'm allowed to really open my hips and just kind of fit my body down in that position. Your other question for low bar is the most optimal way to squat. The lower you can get the bar on your back, the closer it is to your center line, the stronger you're gonna be. There's no question about that. Now, if you're talking about for bodybuilding, high bar could be better, but the studies still show that low bar is better. But with high bar, you might be able to take your quads through a greater range of motion. So if you're training for strength, I would definitely say low bar. And to go back to the flexibility of your ankles, one thing I recommend just about any lifter to do is to use squat heels, because that's just gonna take your ankle mobility, it's not gonna matter, because you're already gonna be in a good position to where you don't have to worry about it. So that's my best advice for you, good sir. All right, a question for my next competition. When is it? So my next competition is going to be October 11th. We're about 10 weeks out now. It's going to be the ABS Rumble in San Diego. So I'm getting ready for it. Training's been really good, and I'm going for the heaviest raw total of all time, and we're gonna do it, and we're 10 weeks away from doing it. And there's gonna be a lot of content from now until then, so sit back and enjoy. That's it for all the questions. Really appreciate you guys for asking those, and I appreciate you guys for welcoming me into the animal community so well. I'm really happy to be a part of the team, and I can't wait for what's next. Hope everyone's having a great day, great summer, and train hard.